Welcome to St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. This college is affiliated to Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak and approved by All India Council for Technical Education. This video lecture is a part of series developed for online classes. Hello everyone, my name is ASHISH TRIPATHI and I am working as an assistant professor at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management since 2015. My areas of interest are data analysis and data visualization, which are recommended to be a data scientist. Welcome to Object Technologies and Programming using Java. In today's session, we are covering basic concepts of object-oriented programming and experience their power for coding. In the previous session, we have discussed about various programming paradigms which have their pits and falls, like unstructured, structured, and object-oriented programming paradigm. Out of them, some basic concepts of object-oriented programming are objects, classes, data abstraction and encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, dynamic binding, and message passing. These act as the pillar of object-oriented programming and are required by a language to be an object-oriented. So, let us quickly study about them. Do you know what is an object? In layman language, anything which can be seen and touched is an object. But this is not correct. In object-oriented programming, objects are the basic runtime entities which exist in memory and are capable to represent any item in the program. They can also communicate among themselves and interact with the environment. Hence, you can say that table, fan are all objects. But is water an object? No, because any entity to become an object, it must satisfy the three basic requirements like state, behavior, and identity. For example, an electric switch is an object as it has two states, on and off. It behaves to provide the circuit for electric current, and lastly, switch has its identity. Yes, water has its state of rest and moving. It has behavioral attributes, but it lacks unique identity. So, air, water are not objects. In our programming, these objects are required to represent a class and refer to its members. Class is a familiar term as from the school days we are told about it. Now, in OOPS, a class is a collection of similar types of objects grouped together as an entity. It has data members and member functions. These data members are kept securely inside this wrapping and serve as the attributes of an object. The member functions act upon these data members and serve as the behavior of the object. As you can see in the diagram, data is acted upon by functions and these two make up the class. A class is also known as abstract data type as it serves the structure for an object. When data and functions are put into a single entity, the process is called encapsulation. It makes the data hidden from outside world and nobody can accidentally access this data. As shown in the diagram, data is protected and is accessible to the outside world only through its functions. Abstraction is a way to display the essential features and hide the background details. That is, the user should know the function of getting the information, but not the internal working or algorithm of the function. Encapsulation is achieved by classes and abstraction is achieved by its member functions. Inheritance plays an important role in object-oriented programming. Through it, a predefined class can be extended to add more functionality by the derived classes. It is also called reusability. Like in the picture, a class bird is being extended by two classes, namely flying bird and non-flying bird. All these classes adds their own attributes to the existing bird class. In this way, inheritance is a way to represent relationship among the classes. When an entity behaves differently under different environment inputs, then it is called polymorphism. This behavior is determined from the data. Hence, data is controlling the code. In operator overloading, the same operator behaves differently on different operands. Example, plus operator is used to add two numbers and the same plus operator is used to concatenate two strings. Moreover, functions can also be overloaded or overridden to be called upon based on different parameters. This is called function overloading and function overriding. As you all can see in the picture, shape is a class having draw function. When this class is being extended by classes circle, box and triangle, they overloaded the definition of draw defined in shape and provided their own definition. This is truly acceptable in OOPS. Binding refers to attaching something with the another. There are two types of binding, static binding and dynamic binding. When the call for a function is determined at compile time, it is known as static binding or early binding. Similarly, when the call is determined at runtime, it is called dynamic binding or late binding. Method overloading is an example of static binding, whereas method overriding is an example of dynamic binding. As you know, we all are objects and we communicate with each other by passing messages in the same way objects in object-oriented programming communicate with each other through calls. This frames an interactive environment among them. With this, we come to the end of the lecture. Before leaving, I ask you to explain data abstraction and encapsulation in object-oriented programming. Also, define the terms objects and classes. Thanks for watching my video. Hope you all must have learned about basic concepts of object-oriented programming. If you have any query, you can contact me on that. Don't forget to watch my next video on benefits of object-oriented programming.